Welcome back, here is the Spirit Board, and here is Coo, one of Kirby's animal friends, in the Kirby's Dream Land series. So Coo is an adorable bird, first appearing in Kirby's Dream Land 2, and then appearing again in 3. And when partnered up with Kirby, Coo would basically unlock a whole bunch of wind-related abilities, using Kirby's copy abilities, in tandem with Coo's own wings and the wind in order to pull off a myriad of different attacks. So we have Falco playing Coo because bird, we have Kirby here as well. And the stage we're playing on is literally Dreamland, to represent the series where Coo was so prominent. On that note, Kirby's down, and now I'm going to take out Coo. Thankfully, I did have a wind resistance spirit on. Not wind immune, but resistant, which is good enough. So, get dead, bub. And here is Ivan from the Golden Sun series. Ivan is one of the party members who joins you in that game, and as you can see by his character portrait, he is a very wizardly type, wielding a staff. And of all the elements, Ivan is most in tune with the elements of wind, hence why Robin here, our mage, is wielding some wind bellows. That said, not much you can do when a big fuck-off slime is bullying you. Here is Aegislash. Aegislash is a Ghost and Steel-type Pokemon introduced in Generation 6. And as you can see, it has two different forms, a shield form, and then a sword form. So, it is either one of the most brutally defensive Pokemon ever, or one of the most damaging Pokemon ever. Either way, when it was first revealed and before it was nerfed, Aegislash was considered so powerful that it was basically forced to go toe-to-toe with legendaries in any competitive environments. You were not allowed to bring an Aegislash to a normal-ass fight because you would win otherwise. Aegislashes were goddamn brutal, so Aegislash here is being played by Meta Knight, who I guess the sword that he wields is representing the sword, and his metal mask represents the shield. And on that note, this battle is actually against two Meta Knights. We've beaten the first, and now comes a more offensive variant, a more aggressive one. So, let's give him some whoops with my Keldeo, another sword-based Pokemon. You know what, of all the Pokemon that didn't get brought back for Sword and Shield, I'm surprised Keldeo isn't back in any regard, because it's literally like a sword-themed Pokemon. There are many sword-themed Pokemon, so yeah. Least I could ask for is to have all of those Pokemon appear in Sword. Anyway, there goes Aegislash. This is Elementary. Elementary is basically your follower, your Watson, if you will, in the game Street Pass Mansion for the 3DS. A game in which you have to solve mysteries inside a mansion. So for this battle, we have Luigi's Mansion. You have Elementary herself, and then you have this very cowboy-looking villager who, I guess, is filling the Sherlock kind of role. Maybe they're the protagonist. I don't know. I don't think anyone on the planet remembers Street Pass Mansion. If you do, all the more props to you. I'm glad that Smash Bros. Has at least immortalized it. Anyway, it is now time to finish these suckers. There goes you. And goddamn invisibility, there is you. Got him. Here is Yveltal, a Generation 6 legendary, the mascot of Pokemon Y. Yveltal is the personification of death in Pokemon form. Basically the Pokemon harbinger of the apocalypse. When it wakes up, it kills everything in its vicinity, and it wakes up every couple hundred years or so. If it dies, everything else dies with it. It just has the entire planet's life in its hands, so it's basically a counterpart to Xerneas, the Pokemon who's themed around bringing life. And in tandem, they bring around the rebirth of the world. And that is a very horrifying concept for Pokemon to explore, but it willingly did it with X and Y. And yet, somehow, those are still the most forgettable games in the series. That truly is a marvel. Anyway, in this particular battle, there aren't too many special features. I think the one main thing is that Charizard has more powerful fire attacks, which I think is a reference to Yveltal's Oblivion Wing attack. Basically, an incredibly powerful attack that drains its opponent's life force. But then again, if that is really what they wanted to represent, it would have made more sense for Yveltal to steal your HP, which is a feature that can happen in this campaign, so maybe that would have been OP. Anyway, here is Unira. These are a bunch of urchins that appear as the enemies in the game CluCluCluCluClu Land for the NES. In CluClu Land, you basically have to navigate around a bunch of pegs in order to reveal an image. Your movement is restricted entirely to grabbing onto pegs and spinning around them, though, so if you're not playing carefully enough, it's very, very easy to bump into the Uniras, a bunch of horrible urchins that intend to pop you and kill you. So this particular level, once again, it is 75 meters. The worst level in the game by quite a wide margin, but this time I can kind of forgive it, simply because the whole point is to emphasize how in CluClu Land, simply moving around was difficult, and once Unira started popping up everywhere, it was hard to go anywhere without getting injured, and that is exactly what this battle does. Because all the goddamn Uniras just appearing on platforms now just means that's another platform I can't land on this stage where platforms are already really hard to land on, so yeah, in this case the frustration at least is fitting. It works, given the fact that it's representing what could be argued to be quite a frustrating game. Anyway, get dead. Go away, horrible little thing. Here is Serena. Serena is the goddess of the fountain in Animal Crossing City Folk. She is a Chihuahua. She's being played by Palutena, also a goddess. And in Animal Crossing City Folk, she would basically unlock for you the silver or the golden axes. To represent that, hammers spawn in. If you grab a hammer, you can't use your recovery move. Here is Like. Like is a standard enemy from the Legend of Zelda, the original game, and it appears quite a lot in subsequent Zelda games. Likes are horrible little slimy monsters who will grapple you. They will basically swallow you up, hence why we've got Yoshi, the swallowing character, who is more than willing to eat you given the chance. And also your shield. They can eat your shields permanently, hence why sudden damage. Here is Antasma, one of the major antagonists of Mario and Luigi Dream Team. Antasma was once originally just a normal bat, but it was eventually corrupted by consuming nightmares, eventually turning it into a powerful dark wizard. So, to represent that, we have Robin here. Most wizards are represented by Robin, because of course. And the sleeping floor, the sleep-inducing floor, is representative of Antasma's role within Luigi's dreamscape. So, yeah. Anyway, I've chosen to fight this one as the Shadow Queen, and I'd like to consider this an informal fight between the Paper Mario series and the Mario and Luigi series, which, at a time, were the two RPG spin-offs of Mario. Paper Mario sadly has kind of deviated from that, but, you know, I'm not going to be one of those people who claims that a series isn't allowed to grow over time, even if I don't like it. I respect that they're at least trying new things, even if I don't like the new things. Goodbye, Antasma. I went off on a tangent. Mega Man Zero. So Mega Man Zero is a series set 100 years after Mega Man X, which itself was set 100 years after the original Mega Man. Mega Man Zero follows the adventures of Zero, not actually Mega Man in any respect. And, yeah, Zero, who originally appeared in Mega Man X as X's friend and ally, eventually got his own spin-off series, and, yeah, he's a pretty cool character, wields a laser sword, hence why we have the Zero suit wielding a laser sword. The fact that, you know, it's Samus playing him is indicative of the fact that Zero is kind of androgynous, and I respect him for that, that's dope. And another big thing about him as a character is that he was essentially the last creation of Dr. Wily, or one of the last creations. So, for as much shit as that old bastard pulls, at least he ended up creating a hero in the long run. Even if it did take some reprogramming and shit. Anyway, this fight's fucking hard because you had the actual Zero there, bullying us alongside Zero stand-in here. So, now, I should be able to deal those last few finishing blows. Assuming I don't get bodied by a final smash. Oh fuck. I should not have run near that explosive. Ugh, okay. Not good for me. I need you to be dead immediately, thank you. And, where is it? Where's the finishing blow? Where's the opportunity, even? Fuck! He knocked my own bomb back onto me! God, that's rude. Fuck! Fuck! I just need to finish you off! Let me finish it! There we go. Got him. Here is Beat, another Mega Man spirit. Beat is a small robotic bird originally appearing in Mega Man 5. In Mega Man 5, Beat would essentially attack on-screen enemies whenever summoned, and would continue to do that until Mega Man 8, where Beat's functionality was changed quite drastically. Instead, if you fell into a bottomless pit, Beat would fly in, capture you, and save you, bringing you onto a nearby platform. So, getting that point across, we have a pretty standard Mega Man here, being assisted by a small Falco, who is Beat, and the stage's gimmick, you know, strong winds, are perfectly designed to blow you off. So, I guess that's the functionality being referenced here, the second one. Although, I don't think Beat will save me if I get blown off the edge, that's why I've made myself wind immune for this battle. Kinda needed to. I did try this without wind immunity. Didn't go well. Lasted about 2 seconds. Get Shoryukens. Alright, so, very, very, very slight detour. Here we are, fusing together some characters. Let's put together Porygon and the Commander in order to give ourselves a polygonal Commander. Well, I say Commander, more of a self-proclaimed Emperor and Warlord. It is Andros from the Star Fox series, as he appears in Star Fox for the SNES, where he was a weird robot face for some reason. Still don't quite get that. Putting together a barman and a cursed sword and shield gives us a cursed barman who deals weaponry. And that might be my favourite combo. This might be my favourite summon. That is such a good idea. And this is possibly the coolest character in the goddamn world. It is Rodan from Bayonetta. Both your ally and the super boss if you choose to challenge him. He will fucking ruin you. Anyway, one more merchant. This one not quite as dangerous, despite what their hair would leave you to believe. This is Spike from the Splatoon series. Spike's whole deal is that you can essentially order specialized gear from him, so a very, very, very helpful shopkeeper. Definitely worth looking into for Splatoon players. Anyway, this is another combo I really like. By taking a cardboard box from Metal Gear Solid and cutting it up using Cutman's blades from Mega Man, we can essentially cut the card into a nice 2D image, assumingly paint it, do a little bit of arts and crafts, and make ourselves a Paper Mario from the series of the same name. Weak to water because of course he is. Here are Slugger and Green Glove. These are a pair of enemies that appear in the Yoshi series, most prominently in Yoshi's Island. And being a baseball player and a pitcher respectively, don't throw your eggs at them, because they will throw the eggs back at you and you will be absolutely fucked by them. The way to defeat them is to butt stomp them within the Yoshi games. Or here, just fuck them up real good. Or if you really want, do as I do. Beat them at their own game. You're terrible at baseball. Try it again. And you're out. You had an opportunity to one-shot me and you didn't take it. Here is the Fighting Alloy team. So, in the original Smash, if the game wanted to throw generic enemies at you, it would basically throw a fighting polygon team at you. In Super Smash Bros. Melee, that was upgraded to a fighting wireframe team. And in Super Smash Bros. Brawl, it became the Fighting Alloy team. Same principle either way. You have a bunch of actual characters, i.e. Captain Falcon, Zelda, Mario, and Kirby, who would be represented by a bunch of very robotic-looking figures, and you would essentially fight them either in classic mode during certain rounds, or in the multi-man Smash modes, so taking down multiple enemies within an arena, within either a time limit, or with just one stock, seeing how far you can go. Anyway, pretty cool battle, very, very Smash Bros, very nostalgic for previous installments. From the Wii game onwards, those modes are instead played by generic Miis, which, okay, I mean, I guess that's what Miis are for. They are the most generic of characters, so yeah. I remember back in the day reading a magazine hoax that you could unlock Toad in Smash Bros. Melee by defeating 20 enemies in Cruel Melee. Fun fact, performing such a feat was fucking impossible. I don't care how good you are. Let's go back to the shops. First of all, we're going to buy ourselves a Fire Flower from Timmy and Tommy. Standard Fire Power-Up for Mario. And Majora's Mask. A demonic mask from the Zelda installment of the same name. Alright, more shopping. Over at Beedle's Place, we have the pets from Wii Sports Resorts. It's a dog, you play fetch with it, you play frisbee with it, it's adorable. That's the dog. And here is the Nintendo Labo Toy-Con car. A car which you can essentially steer with your homemade cardboard steering wheel. I still haven't bought Nintendo Labo because it's so prohibitively expensive. And it's cardboard. Like, you know, I get that the cardboard has a functionality. They're basically peripherals built into the cardboard, but god damn, it's expensive. It's like 80 quid here. The equivalent of $100. It's so much money. Anyway, we have the Toy-Con car being played here by a bunch of Koopa kids who are scooting around in their little clown cars. And they're spamming their most annoying move, the high-speed driving move, so my Paper Mario is kind of getting swatted around at the moment. Not ideal, but definitely beatable, especially since you can drive off the edges, and yes, they are stupid enough to do that. In fact, they already have several times, as far as I can see. Get out, get out, get out, get out. Oh, don't fall off the edge, also. Advice from myself there. And, god damn, how many more of them are there? Oh, god. This one, well, he just, what the fuck over there, though? What are you doing? Alright. That was chaotic, but fun. Oh, look, there's the pet in the background. They're playing fetch. Here's DJ from Street Fighter. DJ is a Jamaican kickboxer, introduced in one of the re-releases of Street Fighter 2. And can I just make a formal request? Can I get anyone who can maybe speak both English and Japanese? Can y'all just send a message over to them that portraying black men as apes is never a good look? Like, I get it, Diddy is fast and athletic and he's very cheeky, and those things do all exemplify DJ as a character, but damn, it's not a good look. Anyway, jump power is lowered because it's a Street Fighter battle. It's a HP battle also, for the same reason, and so long as I spam with Sagat, I'll be fine. Easy stuff. Lord Frederick from Donkey Kong Country Tropical Freeze. Lord Frederick is an invader of Donkey Kong's island from the far, far north, the frigid north. He is also a big walrus, and I respect that. More walruses in video games, please. He's being played by King K. Rool, another one of DK's villains, which, that's pretty fitting. And the ice on the floor is representative of the titular Tropical Freeze. The fact that that was an overwhelmingly ice-themed Donkey Kong game. And here is Wobbuffet. Wobbuffet was introduced in Generation 2. It is a Psychic-type Pokemon, and it has a very unique gimmick. Wobbuffet cannot attack, and even if it could, its attack stats are garbage. It also has pretty lackluster defenses. However, what it does have is overwhelmingly high HP. So Wobbuffet's gimmick is, it allows you to attack it, and then it counterattacks you for double damage. And in many cases, there's very little you can do about that. Particularly when paired up with Wobbuffet's Shadow Tag ability, which, when Wobbuffet appears with Shadow Tag, you are not allowed to swap your Pokemon out. That move is understandably banned now, because it takes away a core mechanic of the game from your opponent, which they kind of need in order to stop Wobbuffet from steamrolling their whole team, which is what Wobbuffet generally does. And that is why Shadow Tag Wobbuffets are considered uber. They are banned from regular play. Yeah. This is Fire. Fire is one of the Game & Watch games that sees you playing as a pair of firefighters who have to trampoline a bunch of citizens from a burning building as they are jumping out of the windows to escape the flames. So, we're currently playing on the Game & Watch stage, which literally features the Fire game, with the burning building on the left there, the ambulance on the far right, which is where you're launching them. And, yeah, we're fighting a bunch of Game & Watches spamming their recovery move, their fire trampoline move, which, annoyingly, makes them really, really, really hard to hit, because if you approach them on the ground, they get fairly decent knockback on you. And if you approach them in the air, they're floating on parachutes and can drop those parachutes at any time. So, these are some of the reasons why Game & Watch as a character is so dangerous when used by a good player. There's a lot of mix-up potential. Also, this is timed because burning building. This is Isa Joe. Isa Joe is the protagonist of the Wii game Sin and Punishment Star Successor, the sequel of the original Nintendo 64 Sin and Punishment game. So, Isa here is the son of the protagonist Saki from the first game, and that is why he is currently fighting alongside Saki. And Sin and Punishment was essentially an on-rail shooter game where you played as a very cool dude floating around with a jetpack, jet boots, and a laser gun, and also a laser sword. You had quite a lot on your arsenal to help you mow through hordes of enemies that would be thrust towards you. And, yeah, that is why we have rocket belts on our enemies here. And why Saki himself is being played by a Mii gunner, because Saki's bread and butter was just shooting you to shit. Whereas Isa is a little more sword-oriented, hence why the Shulk is representing him. Anyway, the background, Midgar, is kind of indicative of the fact that the Sin and Punishment games are very cyberpunk in terms of their aesthetic, and they're set in a very dystopian world, much like Final Fantasy VII is. Anyway, fuck, that would have been a great finisher. I guess I'll settle for that. Here is a Hothead. Hothead is a very standard enemy from the Super Mario series. It's a big ball of fire, and that's kind of it. Although in Smash, they have a very interesting gimmick. They basically follow the shape of the stage once they hit the ground, as they do in Mario. However, anytime they are hit, especially with an energy attack or a fire attack, they start to grow. And the bigger they get, the more damage they do. So, if you throw a shitload of hotheads, which is what this level is providing, your enemy can't even land on the floor without getting utterly bodied. So, screw attacking, I'm just going to rely on the hotheads. I've kind of got this now. Yeah, y'all ain't got shit. You've got nothing to stop me with. These hotheads are relentless. And here's some more fire. This is Rapidash, a Generation 1 Pokemon, fire type, obviously, and the evolved form of Ponyta. So Rapidash is a pretty quick horse-based Pokemon, kind of a given that its name is Rapid Dash, and that is why we've got such a fast Charizard blitzing back and forth on us. That said, so long as you don't get caught in those flames and you jump in with some good aerial attacks, maybe try countering the fire like I'm trying to do, but successfully, you'll probably get through this one fairly easily. It's just a case of finding those windows of opportunity, because Curry, as an ailment, as a constant effect, is a lot to deal with. As you may have noticed from earlier points in the LP, where fire-breathing enemies have kind of stymied me. Or wait for it to kill itself, that works too. Turn to blue. This is a really weird idea for a spirit. It's not so much a character as it is a state of being, but in the Pac-Man games, when you pick up a power pellet, all of the ghosts turn blue, and they run away from you, and you have X amount of time to eat them all, to steal points from them, before they transform back to normal. That is why we have a timed battle, which I did in 6 seconds, where you have to kill them quick. Here is Eagle from the Advance War series. Eagle starts off as an antagonist in the original Advance Wars, but later grows to join your side. Eagle's gimmick is that he's more focused on aerial units, which is why we're currently playing on Corneria. And his CO ability originally would simply buff his aerial units, but in the Advance Wars game Dual Strike, it would also buff both his attack and defense powers. So yeah, they've one-to-one replicated that with this fight, with his attack and defense going up. Also, this is Advance Wars, so all of the items spawning are explosives and guns, and yeah, I'm down with that shit. Get bananas. Get bananades. Alright, time for one more little spot of summoning. By putting together Majora's Mask and a support, we get the horrifying, ever-present, apocalypse-causing moon, which in the game Majora's Mask constantly looms over you. And if you go 3 whole days without rewinding time or attending to said moon, it kills everyone. Everybody dies. No pressure or anything. God damn. Oh, and by combining both Baxter and Forthington with Slugger and Green Glove, a pair of chums who like throwing projectiles towards one another, we get a boss from Kirby's Adventure, Mr. Shine and Mr. Bright. In their fight, they like to launch themselves around the arena. Anyway, time for some upgrades. For Hooper, we have his fully powered Djinn form, Hooper Unbound. And for Model X, we have the fully upgraded form, Model ZX, which, once again, is based on Zero. And one more, it is DJ Octavio in his walking tank, making him the Octobot King. See you all next time.